crafty friends, and welcome to the Bling Pop. Here's all my lovely bling, and also I broke my hand. Isn't that great? Look at that. Oh boy. It's okay. Crafting overcomes everything. So anyways, I left this in because I made an ill-fated attempt to try and color my rhinestones here, and these are some of those Aurora rhinestones, and I thought, oh, I've got these little lip gloss applicators, I'm gonna give them a try, and wrong, didn't work good. So then I just grabbed the bottles and I started just dotting the color on top of the rhinestones directly, and that worked out so much better, minus the pinata purple here, which was so dark. Oh boy, you could not see the stones after that. They looked black. So I just watered them down a bit, and voila, boom, there you go, they're all done. Anyways, I wanted to say thank you so much to Sandra for the blog hop at Createinspain. She is just awesome, so lovely for having done this, and thank you, thank you. Here is one of my little tricks. I like to use hand sanitizer. Has alcohol in it and is nice and gloppy gooey and works extremely well on Yupo paper. This is Yupo translucent medium weight, and I'm using some Ranger inks and some pinata inks, and I originally had intended on trying to do kind of a loose style rainbow here, and yeah, well, best intentions set forth. It starts out looking pretty good, and I get to this point, decide that I'm going to, oh, there's the colors, decide that I'm going to blend that purple out a little bit there, give it a little smear around in some of that extra hand sanitizer. And the hand sanitizer does work, you know, very closely to the alcohol blending ink, and I add the alcohol blending ink and, oh, nah, wrong. So I go back and try and fix that a little bit with a few dots of extra ink here. Now I have sped this up. I believe it's 4 times or 8 times. I don't know. It's sped up. I couldn't ink this fast, really. I wish I could. Man, you would not, well, I'd have to have twice as many craft supplies because I'd craft twice as fast. Here's a happy birthday. I will try and list where I source that from, and this is my new art glitter glue. What I was showing you with the happy birthday is I actually cut a multiple of white happy birthdays and then kind of wonky layered them behind the original one to give it a bit of an outline, and I'm just adding some layers here to build up the background of the card. I had already attached a layering piece to the back of the Yupo, and here is some of my packing foam. Then I'm cutting for the back. I have tested it with the art glitter glue, and although my little nozzle does not like to glide along the back of that foam, it certainly does glue it down quite well, no problem. So a big woot woot for the glue and the foam. And I gotta tell you, Mary P did the test on the glue. That glue is awesome. It just glides right out of that nozzle, and my poor little ATG gun is just being neglected. So I flipped this around a few little times, tried to figure out where to put it, and I'm just going to sketch a little bit of glue on the back of this background here. You can see all those layers all wonky layered on each other. And I put down my happy birthday, and then my idea was to take those colored rhinestones and actually put them over the colored areas of the card, just to give it some bling and some color. And there's my finished card number 1. Okay, this is wholly inspired by all those little people out there, me having been one of them once upon a time, that like to put a lot of glue and a lot of glitter. And this is a lot of glue and you will see a lot of glitter. I really thought, what represents bling more than rhinestones, hence card number 1, and glitter, card number 2. This was so much fun to make. I highly recommend it. It's going to make a mess, so make sure that you use a pad underneath to protect your work surface, but I just went nuts. Now, I did speed this up. This is either 4 or 8 times as well, because I didn't think you needed to see me, you know, packing and dropping all over the place. But it was so much fun to do. Now, the big tip that I'm going to give you is start with whatever your largest piece of glitter is. Start with that first so that that can touch the glue, because if you put the small stuff first, it's going to take up all the nice sticky spots on the glue and you're not going to get your bigger things stuck down. And as you progress through the different sizes, they will be able to stick each in their own little spot. So, as well as lots to my fingers and to my house. I don't know, I was kind of thinking too, is it a hateful thing to give somebody a card that's this glittery? Because you kind of know it's going to make a mess. You kind of know that when you give it to them, there is going to be little bits and glittery tchotchkes coming off of this thing all over the place. But man, it is sparkly. When you see this thing in person, I had it sitting out on my counter. I gotta tell you, it was underneath something. Every person who walked by and saw it peeking out wanted to know what it was. And you know, either that, there's a ton of magpies, or you know, we just all really like glitter. So here are my base pieces. I used a We Are Memory Keepers 3D embossing folder. And then this is a tonic die that I got from, of course, my good friend Nancy's stamp art store in London, Ontario, Canada. And then this is a Celebrate die that I picked up from Spellbinders. And of course, my cards are all 5x7. I haven't changed that. And the other thing you may have seen in the beginning there is that I used a sheet of that Tim Holtz glitter paper. Peeled that off and stuck it down to some cardstock, and of course I had to steal back that glitter paper. I couldn't waste it, you know. It's so pretty, and I cut the Mr. and Mrs. out of it and then grabbed the other piece back so I could use that for something else later. Now I left this in because this is typical card making. Like, you know, you're gonna pull stuff out and you give it a try, and that's really what card making is. Try it out, put it down, see if it works, and when it doesn't work, then you go, no, move on. So anyways, I was pondering a little bit when I saw this, how the heck am I going to glue this down so that it doesn't lose all that delicious puffiness and texture? And I thought, well, I'm just going to use a skinny nozzle and sweep the art glitter glue along there and make sure that I get those extra little corners so that it catches the glitter paper, and pop that down. And of course, as an alternative to using my HEG, the nice thing is this glue does give you a little opportunity to slide. Now, anyways, here's a little bit of foolishness on my part. I don't know why I grabbed an entire sheet of foam packing, and I thought, I'm gonna cut that hole out of the middle. I could not have made this any harder for myself, and I have to say, I cut a good portion. Now you can see off to the right there all the extra little slices. That pile's gonna get bigger. You will not see me do all the cutting, but there was a lot more cutting involved. And if I had just quite simply gone ahead and cut this piece into a couple of strips and then attached it to the back of this, it would have been so much easier. And maybe you guys are wondering too, hey, why'd you use that acetate? What I was figuring is I wanted the backing paper to show as little as possible behind all that wonderful glitter. And the nice thing too about this packing foam is it is also semi-transparent. So you really don't notice this when it's back behind things. If you're doing black paper on black paper and you want to pop your stuff up and not have some big orange or yellow or white core showing from underneath those when your card is turned sideways, this is the answer, and so much better for our environment too. Now I did layer together a bunch of die cuts for this Celebrate to give it a nice thick juicy look and make sure it stood out on all of that glitter. And on the back of this die cut, which is also I think 3 layers of white cardstock and then the 1 layer of that Tim Holtz gold glitter paper, I glued that all together, and now I'm just adding just a few pieces of that foam. Hey, it was sitting there, why not, right? I think that's sometimes how I craft. Whatever's there gets used, you know? And that's why I don't sweep things away and necessarily put them in the garbage too quickly. So I nipped off a bunch of these little pieces, put them in place just to keep that held up, and made sure that the point's not going to dip down. But ultimately, I'm going to get this suspended in between that glitter frame that I have. And I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm only going to put glue either on the foam pieces or a good amount on the sides that are actually going to be touching the glitter. And that held this on just perfectly. It just looks like it's floating in there, and you know, you really can't necessarily tell how it's held together. But anyways, I had so much fun on this blog hop. I have been looking to join other blog hops and to connect. Oh goodness, that's Siggy. He's very excited right now. Anyways, to join other people on blog hops, and I'm hopeful that if anybody is willing to, they would join me, you know, leave me a comment below, and hopefully you'll subscribe and continue to join me in the future, and Ziggy hopes that you will too. Thanks so much, and have a crafty, fantastic day.